Hey everyone, what's the crack? Lawrence here with another super exciting video. As you can tell by the title, I've gotten my hands on a Simagic Alpha Mini. I have the Simagic Alpha on my rig right now. I had the M10, that was probably one of my first breakthrough videos with the channel. The Simagic M10 is now discontinued. It's actually replaced by this, the Alpha Mini, because the M10 was 10 Newton meters, the Alpha Mini is 10 Newton meters. The reason they discontinued the M10 is because it was a hybrid stepper motor, so it was slightly notchy, even though I've always been an advocate that you don't actually, while driving, you don't actually notice that much unless you go looking for it. You notice it when you're in the pits and at low speeds and stuff like that, but that's no longer an issue if you're considering a Simagic product. This is the new entry level. Really excited to get it installed on the rig, see how different it is, and just see if it's a viable option for you guys. Let's do it. Okay, let's get this unboxed here. I'm excited to see what they've done with the packaging as well, because my packaging with both the M10 and the Alpha was quite early packaging. So interested to see what because this is a proper consumer version. This is exactly what you'll get if you buy one of these. So it's a very accurate representation of what the final product is like. There we go, beautiful boxing. Now they did tease at one stage with the Alpha, they teased lovely sleeved boxing. It doesn't seem on initial impressions. Future is here. I love cheesy race slogans on these boxes. That box looks super high quality though. It really does look like a quality product. It looks like something that is well thought out. Let's see if we can get into this here. Okay, I remember with the early boxes as well, it was quite difficult to slide this part out. Yeah, but it's extremely well packed. So we've got a couple of USB cables here. We've got a manual, a repair card it says. So it's got a Facebook QR code. It's got a couple of bits and pieces in there. We'll go through more detail in the actual full review. And here we go. There is the beast. Check that out. Okay, so there's one single power supply. So it's a Pietersen, and here we go. Let's grab that out here. So there we go, there's the wheelbase. It's definitely smaller than the Alpha. I'll of course do some side-by-side of the two of them as well. That looks pretty nice. I've got a quick release with it. It's good to know that you get that quick release, that wheelbase side with it, and you also get the steering wheel side with it, which is dead handy, so you can hook up any steering wheel you want to that. And again, I absolutely love this quick release because it's just so easy to use. It's got the 4 little pins in there that attach to the 4 little pins. I'll go through more detail on that as well in the actual full review, but I love this quick release, really nice. So it looks very similar to the Alpha. At a glance, it looks exactly like the Alpha. It's just a little bit shorter. It's got the same mounting points, front mounting points, all that. The logo is newer here than it is on my existing Alpha. So let's get this hooked up to the PC, guys. What else have we got in here? We've got a power cable. So that power cable has a little on-off switch on it. Got an adapter here because this came from the EU store. This is not an Irish plug, so it doesn't have an Irish or UK plug with it, which is fine. We'll figure that out. What have we got in here? This is just some mounting hardware and stuff. Loving the Simagic branded bags. That's pretty cool. That's it. Let's get it hooked up. So here we go, we're all bolted up to the rig. I've also put this little grid unit on it. It's just quite nice, it fits quite nice with the base. I'm also testing this, so some of the footage between my reviews kind of overlaps in that. We've got the Alpha Mini here, as you guys can see. It is not the Alpha is in the background behind me. So let's hook it up and see what happens. There we go, power, everything lights up. All good. Okay, so the first one that we're going to go to is my go-to sim, which is Assetto Corsa. So let's see how it performs. So for Assetto Corsa, one of my go-to car and track combinations is the Formula Agile at Donington. It's an exceptionally good track. It's an exceptionally good car. The handling is crisp and precise, and you really need to be on the edge. You need to feel everything in order to keep this car on track. Also, that means that we don't want to be using the GT1 rim because this is an open wheeler Formula style car. So we're going to grab the GT4. I will go into a lot of detail on these in my actual review. Love that startup sequence. It's just so nice. I will go into a lot more detail with them. I guess briefly, the GT4 is great for Formula cars. The GT1 is great for rally, drift, GT style, everything. If you were to go for one over the other, I'd go for the GT1. Even though it doesn't have any 7-way hats, this has 2 7-way hats. This is an exceptionally good steering wheel. It's also got clutch levers on it, and it's just a brilliant, listen to that, it just sounds so good. One of the great things about the GT4 and the GT1, as you just saw, they share a lot of the common button mappings, so even the gear shifters, that I didn't have to change any settings to hop into this car. That's shifting through the gears just nicely. So let's go for a little bit of a drive. So here we go, we're in the pits in the Formula Agile at Donington. This is an excellent car and track to test force feedback. I've not changed a single setting, so what I'm expecting is for the steering to be just a lot lighter. It's the same controller as the Alpha, so I shouldn't need to change much other than the overall gain. That's my theory. Let's take it for a drive. This Agile is extremely unforgiving. When you put the foot down and you're not modulating that throttle, it'll just take you for a ride. You'll see as soon as I get out of the pits here, you'll see that it'll want to turn. There we go, it wants to turn straight away. Now I can definitely feel forces through the steering wheel, but as suspected, it's extremely light. I feel very good definition on the rumble strips there. Yeah, there's great road definition as well, because one of the things that really got to me with the Alpha was that there were just some details missing, and namely road textures. As in, if you were driving on the road and you went off into the grass, you wouldn't feel the difference a lot of the time. You would visually see it, you would audibly hear it, and if you hit a bump, you would feel those bumps, but the actual surface, the constant tension or traction that you feel on the road wasn't great until a couple of weeks ago when Simagic released new firmware, and that was an absolute game changer. Those of you familiar with the channel will know that I got a SimiCube SC2 Sport, and it was really just to explore what things are capable of force feedback wise, and the Alpha has come so much closer to the SC2 Sport thanks to that firmware update. That's why I'm delighted, and the reason I'm mentioning this in the first place is I'm delighted to see that the Alpha Mini uses that exact same firmware. So as I say, I can get loads and loads of detail through the steering wheel here, but it is just too little. So I'm going to bring up the force feedback controller here, and I'm just going to crank this up a bit, just to where I'm familiar. That feels a bit familiar. Let's go to 100, a nice round number. I'll also show you guys quickly my Alpha Manager settings. So they're here. I am running 540 degrees of rotation for this type of car. I've got my total force at 100, smooth level at 2, damper at 20, and wheel friction at 20 as well. Now these are my Alpha settings, as I say, and I'm just trying to see how they translate to the Alpha Mini. With 100% force feedback, 100% in-game gain there, it feels pretty good. I'm just going to move that off to the side, and let's try drive it in anger for just a second. Yeah, that feels it feels like it's loading up really nicely through the corners. That's beautiful. Yeah. Oh lads, yes. Yes. Is it better than the M10? Honestly, it's been so long since I've used an M10 I couldn't answer that with authority at the moment. It's giving me those feelings that the M10 gave me as well, though. The M10 is still a great piece of hardware, and you can buy them at a bargain, brand new at the moment still, because the M10, of course, is being replaced by this Simagic Alpha Mini. That feels amazing. Amazing, really, really good. I'm sure there's more room for improvement on the force feedback settings. Yeah, the understeer effects and everything are just really nice. The way it spins and stuff. This car is particularly unforgiving. I don't drive it every day anymore either, so catching slides. I mean, let's try force it into a slide through this corner, which is notorious for slides. Let's get through here. Get a bit heavy on the throttle. You do feel it instantly. It is just and you can, sorry, I'm just wrestling with the car. It's very difficult to talk and wrestle with this car at the same time. But there's a reason I chose this car. The understeer effects are really nice. Now, compared to the Alpha, you do get more in the Alpha. As in, you get more detail. You get that little bit of... I don't know what it is. There's just a little bit more communication. That doesn't mean that this is by any means bad, though. I would be perfectly happy if this was my forever wheel. I love the way the suspension loads up, and there again going through the old hairpin. It's less like I could do this all day, and I could probably just end this video now. I'm pretty confident with this, and I'd go as far as to say, with these settings right now, if I hopped in for a league race in Assetto Corsa, and if somebody, you know, switched my Alpha with an Alpha Mini without me knowing, it would take me a long time to realize, guys. Maybe eventually, I mean, I'm very conscious of it right now. Maybe eventually I'd notice that there's some little bits missing, as in it's just not as aggressive as usual. But this is great. This is really good. What a great start. Delighted. But we're not finished with Assetto Corsa yet. I get so many questions about drifting. People know that I drift. I showed drifting on my M10 video, on my Alpha video. The Simagic wheels are exceptionally good at drifting. So let's take this GT4 rim back off, and let's swap it out for the GT1 rim again. I love that quick release. I love that quick release. I've probably mentioned that once or twice over the years. Right, so I've loaded up my Alpha drift settings. We're going to give that a try. I've not messed with any gain or anything like that, and we'll just see how it goes here. Straight in with a clutch kick in third. I'm in straight out of the box. That already drifts quite nicely. Bear in mind, this isn't a drift track. The speed is a little bit higher than what I'm used to in a road car. Maybe, I guess, a little bit of force missing, same as what we discovered with the previous. I almost think like even at this early stage, it's kind of ready to just load up a drift track. What do you think? I think we probably should just load up a drift track. Let's see how the Manji goes on the straight here. I mean, that's sweet. Stay on the track. Don't stay on the track. That feels damn sweet. I need to get to a track with some clipping zones and stuff. So here we are at one of my favorites, good old proving ground. If you've never drifted this track, get it. It is great. It's got clipping points, it's got walls, and it's super technical. It's where I have prepared for competition in the past as well. Yeah, I can't wait to just give this a rip here. Let's go. So yeah, missing a little bit of force, alright. Just missing that bit of aggression. But as for control, I mean, that's sweet. You know, it's not tempting me to go towards the handbrake. Settings can be refined. Definitely out to this clipping zone. Back in for this clip. mean, that feels pretty damn good, guys. Not really chatting, just kind of enjoying this. All right, less farting about here. Let's turn up that feedback. So right now this is right down at 30. Let's turn that up to, I'd say, probably about 60, and we'll see how that feels. Oh, that's heavy now. Yeah. Look at how quickly that steering wheel is moving now, guys. Should go up to third. Out to this clip. Yes, this feels so much better now. A little bit of weight, a little bit wide on that clip. This is savage. Alright, let's depend on the steering heavily here and try stay away from that handbrake. Bit of understeer there, felt it nicely. Yes! I'm loving this. Absolutely loving this. Let's go for third. This clip is super hard. Just about made it, just about maintained grip. You really do need a handbrake for that clip to do it properly. Bit wide on that one. Oh, let's look how quickly that transitions. I'm going to do exaggerated transitions here. Look at that. Like, that is great. We'll go again. Keep an eye on the steering wheel. It's smooth when it needs to be. It's super quick when it needs to be as well. No question about it, guys. Great drift wheel. That is, for drifting, every bit as good as my Alpha. Every single bit as good. You don't need more in a drift car. Like in a race car, you need those little details. You need to know when you're losing grip and stuff like that. In a drift car, this is a dream. I can turn that up even more. It's only at 60% now. I can turn that up way more, but it would be unmanageable. I'm going to show you my Alpha Manager settings here. Here we go. So where I've landed with this is total force at 100, and the wheel friction at 17. Wheel speed at 25. Wheel speed is the big one here. Your sim in general, to try and get everything moving as quickly as possible, you've got this wheel speed, which basically gets it moving faster. You need to kind of turn that down because logically, when you're drifting, the car rotates around the steering wheel, and even though it looks quite, on an aggressive transition, it looks very aggressive, but it's still relatively slow compared to, hitting a curb or something like that. So get that wheel speed right down, 100% for all the game effects, everything else off. Seems to be pretty good. Yeah, loving it. Great for drifting. So on to iRacing, and we're here in the Radical SR8. Another crazy car. We're at Donington again, just because just to keep that force feedback consistency. Forgot that this is a flappy paddle car, not a H shifter car. Let's go here. So the force feedback max force right now is at 89. So I'm expecting this to be lighter than with the Alpha. Now with the Alpha, I ran this extremely heavy. So I am getting quite a bit of detail. I'm not getting as much road as I did with in Assetto Corsa. Not getting as much curb either. Oh yeah, you have to blip on downshift, don't you? Yeah, I'm not getting as much through the wheel with my Alpha settings. And it's just not as, it's not as detailed in Assetto Corsa, or as Assetto Corsa was. Now that is kind of an inherent thing with iRacing. The force feedback, in my opinion, is not as good as Assetto Corsa. It's getting better for sure. The lower powered cars have gotten really, really good. And if you do couple it with IRFFB or whatever, you can get quite a lot out of the force feedback. But out of the box, it's lacking a little bit. So what I'm going to do, and you'll see up here, the little auto thing just appeared. So I'm just going to hit it, put it on, click the auto, and it switched that to 35. Now, the whole iRacing force feedback system is a complete mystery to me, but that little auto switch is quite good. And having pressed that auto switch, it now instantly feels far more like my Alpha did. And I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm getting a lot more road texture as well now. Yeah, way more road texture. I can feel that loading up really nicely. Still not a huge amount of curb. Yeah, the curbs are kind of non-existent. I could feel the suspension there through the bumps, but the curbs are very weak. I don't know if that... I can't think offhand if that is... Okay, I felt those curbs alright. Maybe some of the curbs are just less pronounced. In Assetto Corsa, the curbs all tend to be as aggressive as each other. So, iRacing being laser scanned and all that, it could just be that little bit more refined, a little bit more detailed. So, I can't really pass too much comment on that, to be honest. Yeah, the force feedback is really nice. Exactly what I expected. Loving that auto force feedback iRacing setting. I can show you my settings. Again, this is my base Assetto Corsa profile on Alpha Manager. So here we see I'm still running the exact same profile, 540, and we'll just go into the force feedback settings here. And we'll see what my settings are at. So there you go, you can see my wheel range 532. I don't use linear mode with Simagic wheels. For some reason, with the Simagic wheels, for me it feels better or indifferent. It's indifferent with use linear mode on. It doesn't feel any bit better or whatever, and I landed on these settings and I think they're quite nice. So I don't use linear mode. I know all the rules say you should use linear mode, but for me, it's very much about how it feels rather than what it should be and what technically it should be. So we've got max force 35, wheel force 7 Newton meters. Makes no sense to me whatsoever the way iRacing does this, but this is what it calculated. Damping at 0, minimum force at 3.4, and reduced force when parked. That's what it's at. I can categorically say iRacing feels really good. The Alpha Mini gets definitely a 9 out of 10. The force feedback is great, and the more time I spend with this wheel, the more I feel like I would be happy if this was my forever wheel, which is for 10 Newton meters, which seems tiny compared to, you know, the 15 Newton meters of the Alpha, or the 17 of the SC2 Sport, or the 25 of the SC2 Pro that we had in a couple of months ago. The Simplicity was 20 Newton meters. I'm getting a VRS in the coming weeks, which is 20 Newton meters. This is only 10 Newton meters, and it feels great. And you know what? That makes me very excited about the upcoming Fanatec wheels as well. And I know you guys keep asking me, which should you get, the Alpha Mini or the CSL DD? I've not used the CSL DD, so I can't give an opinion on that. What I can say is the Alpha Mini is every bit worth the money. It is. Like, it just is. I already know. I only have it a couple of days. I've been using it for a couple of days, but I know. I'm very, very confident in it. Let's jump into Dirt Rally 2. So we're going to do the same for Dirt Rally now. This is Dirt Rally 2.0. This is Mitsubishi Lancer in Greece, some random stage in Greece. So I'm going to put on my gloves because the tread on the inside of this wheel can be quite aggressive. It's yeah, you see wear patches on the gloves and stuff like that, and I have gotten my fingers quite sensitive in the past. So that's something that you know, if you're doing a slidey game or a game where you change grip quite a lot, this steering wheel is, I mean, it's extremely high quality, but it's quite, the stitching is quite hard as well. So that's just a small thing. Now again, I'm expecting to have to up the forces, but I'm just going to try it with my alpha settings for now. 2, 1, go. Keep left over 60, 3 left over cut. 30, slow, 6 left long, reversed into turn, sudden, unseen, tight hairpin right. very little in the
opens. Keep left over 60.
oh, there was a bit of a spike of power
6
there.
right. Keep left over crest into sudden 6 right into 6
Yeah,
left.
I'm gonna have to turn up that overall
100.
gain.
Slow turn open hairpin right. Opens 100 over crest. 6 right long over
Yeah,
crest.
let's go turn up that
into
force
6
feedback
left.
and try that again. So I'm going to jump into options here, and we're going to jump into alpha base, vibration and feedback. So we've got the self-aligning torque. I think that's the main one. I haven't adjusted these in a while. So that was at 40 for the alpha. Let's bump that up. I mean, if it's at 40 for the alpha, so let's try that, just the self-aligning torque, and see how that works. Let's do this.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Keep left over 60, 3 left on cut. 30, slow 6 left long over crest into turn sudden, unseen.
Yeah, there's definitely more
right,
weight in it.
4 left long. Opens.
There could be more weight
Keep
again
left over
though.
60. 6
Felt a
right.
slight spike there again.
Keep left over crest into sudden 6 right.
It's good though.
Into
It's
6
definitely
left,
getting
very
there.
Long, 100. Slow turn open hairpin right. Opens 100 over crest. 6 right long over crest.
I mean, there's
into
instant
6
confidence
left.
there for sure.
6 right over crest. 30. 5 left long. Tightens 4 of a dip. 5 right over crest.
Oh,
50.
which gear, man? Oh,
5 right tight.
bend it, bend it. It's nearly there, but I think it just needs that little bit more. It needs that little, now it could be the car as well. I'm not too familiar with this car. I tend not to change my settings between cars, but let's give it a go now.
3, 2, 1, go. Keep left over 60, 3 left on cut. 30, slow 6 left long over crest.
Yeah, that
into
definitely
turn
feels better
sudden,
now.
Unseen, tight hairpin right. And 4 left long. Opens. Keep left over 60. 6 right. Keep left over
Yeah, that
crest,
feels nice.
into
There's a
sudden,
nice amount
6
of
right,
resistance.
Into 6 left, very long, 100. Slow, turn open hairpin right. Opens 100 over crest.
Oh, go and widen those hairpins.
6 right long of a crest. Into 6 left. 6 right of a crest.
Yeah, it
30,
feels great. You can
5
feel the
left
bumps
long,
quite well.
tightens 4 of a
I
dip.
I do have to say that you can
5
feel the
right of a
bumps
crest. 50.
slightly better with the
5
alpha,
right tightens. To jump,
but that might
caution
just be
narrow, 4
ooh,
right.
that might just be because
Into 3 left. Opens 4.
Ooh.
Tightens.
might
Into
just be
4
because
right
I'm
of a
not used
jump.
to this.
Opens
Wow, that's
5,
the force feedback is
extra
great
long,
though. I mean,
50.
that was some.
6 left tightens turn.
You need
5
great
over
force
crest
feedback
jump.
to be able to
Into 6 right,
catch
very long,
a
to keep
slide
middle
like
of a
that.
crest, 100 downhill,
Yeah, I'm convinced
slow,
it's going to be great
unseen,
for
open
dirt as
hairpin
well.
left. And 6 right, into 6 left, opens of a crest jump, and slow crest jump.
Yeah, loving
into
this,
unseen,
loving
tight
it.
hairpin right. Keep left of a 30.
Go on,
6 right,
handbrake. Go on, handbrake.
40.
Yes.
Middle of a crest into
Oh,
6
this
left,
is fun.
slow
This is
30,
amazing.
unseen hairpin left. 70. 6 right long. To bump and dip.
Oh, it really
30,
feels good,
unseen,
lads.
Tight hairpin right to tree. Keep right over 80. 5 left over dip and crest. Slow 50. Unseen
Again, if
hairpin
somebody
left.
replaced my alpha, it would take me a while to
4
notice.
Over crest, 50 downhill, unseen, tight hairpin right. Into 6 left over crest. And 4 right long, opens 30. Keep right of a long crest.
Loving
into
it.
4 left over cut.
Alright, that's definitely enough.
4 right and 4 left long over crest.
Love it, love it, love it,
Keep
love
right
it.
of a long.
So there we have it. That is my, I guess, fairly comprehensive first impressions of the Alpha Mini. I really love it. I really, really like it. If, you know, I was lucky enough to own this, and if something happened to my Alpha, I would just replace it with the Alpha Mini for a while. Obviously, being a reviewing channel, I like, you know, dabbling with new hardware and stuff. but I would be very happy with this as my forever wheel. It's just extremely good. It makes me smile. Hopefully you guys saw me smile. Hopefully you guys saw me zone out and get lost in the sims during this video, because that happens, and I get really kind of passionate when force feedback is really good. Some wheels are better than others, some wheelbases are better than others, but you know, from the amazingly high quality steering wheel rims to the quick release to the form factor, all of that, I just think it's a great piece of kit. So as always, there will be a full comprehensive review coming in the next couple of weeks. I do want to give a massive shout out, because so many people messaged me and they were asking me about the Alpha Mini. I already have the Alpha. I have a full-time job. This is a part-time job for me. This doesn't earn enough to justify me buying an Alpha Mini and reviewing it and then never using it again or selling it or whatever. So one of the things that I asked you to do was, if you wanted me to review one, tell your local supplier, your local reseller, tell them, message Simagic, just, you know, get the price, because it's one thing, you know, I'm a small channel. If I send emails to someone and I'm like, I want to try this, I want to try that, it can get maybe a little bit exhausting for them, and they might think that I'm only in it for me. It may be as a result of people asking me, but if those people ask the companies directly for me to review something, it makes the companies take me and the potential customer a lot more seriously. So long story short, lots of you did message Simagic, lots of you did message Simwear.eu and Abruzzi and everybody, which was humbling, but it also had a great result. Kevin from Simwear.eu reached out to me. He had been chatting to Ben at Abruzzi, who also stocks Simagic and sells Simagic, and they basically decided amongst themselves, we need to get one to Lawrence. Thanks to your help, thanks to them liking my videos, stuff like that. Super cool. They sent me one. I get to use it for a couple of weeks. I will have to send it back at some stage. In the next couple of weeks, there will be a full review, full comprehensive review. If you have any questions in the meantime, do join my Discord. I'll put a link to that in the description below as well. I'm also, before the end of the month, so for the next, I think there are less than 3 weeks left in the competition, I'm giving away one of these seats, exactly like this, with my logo in the headrest. I'm sending it anywhere in the world, and entering the competition is extremely simple. All you have to do is hop into my Discord. There's a specific channel for winning sim stuff, and in there you just need to follow the instructions, which is you're going to spec out one of these seats for yourself, say what the price is, and that's it. As long as you do that, you're in the draw. And on the 31st of August, live on stream, I'm going to be calling out a winner. I'm going to be shipping this across the world with my own money. The prize seat was sponsored by RCC, Luso Motors. I've also linked them in the description below. Massive prize, super cool. Hop into my Discord, and yeah. So that's it for me for another video, guys. I'm gonna get back to driving, and I'll chat to you later.